Thank you. Great stuff. Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We have Bill Sweeney, RFU Chief Executive Officer, and England Rugby men's new head coach, Steve Borthwick, here. We will start with some comments from Bill, then we'll come over to Steve, and then we'll come to the floor for Q&A. Thanks very much. Bill, over to you, please.
Afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for making the trek all the way over to Twickenham on this lovely, bright, sunny day. We're delighted that you're all here. It's a fantastic opportunity, and we want to work with you on the launch of the new age of England Rugby. So thanks a lot for coming in. Firstly, formally congratulate Steve on coming back to England. He's got 15 years with us as a coach and a player, and we're delighted to welcome him back to Twickenham into the England setup. And we'd also like to confirm today the announcement that Kevin Sinfield will be joining us as defence coach and will be joining Steve later on this week. We're incredibly excited by this. It really is a huge opportunity, and the hard work really starts now in terms of the preparation for the Six Nations. Steve's pedigree within England goes without saying. He was a representative schoolboy with England. He was a Colt. He was an under-21. And, of course, he played for his country between 2001 and 2010. 57 appearances, 21 as captain. So an outstanding career with England as a player. And, of course, he had 10 seasons with Bath, 6 seasons with Saracens, and 265 appearances, I believe, which was a record at the time. He's also taken his famously rigorous approach to doing things and developed his coaching career in a similar way, and had coaching stints, as you know, at Saracens and more latterly Leicester, where, of course, he won the Premiership title last year. But also, very importantly, to note that he's been involved in 2 World Cup cycles, so coaching in Japan from 2012 to 2015 with Eddie. And now is an appropriate time also to just put on record our thanks really to Eddie for the huge contribution he's made to English rugby in the time he was here, nearly 7 years here. But then Steve was also in the coaching setup from 2015 to 2020, which covered 2 Six Nations championships and a Grand Slam, and also the trip to the World Cup final in 2019. And, of course, he was also coach within the 2017 Lions tour that had that memorable draw down in New Zealand. So his credentials are impeccable. He's gone about developing his coaching career in the sort of way that you'd expect him to do. And we're delighted and very proud to have him come back to us now as well. We've had a very rigorous coach succession planning system in place for over 2 years now, headed up by Nigel Redman. And we've been having discussions about that process and what would happen post-23. And Steve was always our lead choice and our preferred candidate to come in and do the England job. So we're absolutely delighted that he's come in here today. I'd also mention, as part of that overall process, Richard Cockerell stepped up briefly as interim coach, and thanks to Richard for doing that in recent weeks. But that's really all from me at this stage, and I know we're taking questions later on. But with that, I'll hand it over to Steve.
Thanks, Bill, for those kind words. Thank you, everybody, for coming here today. I'd like to thank Bill and everybody at the RFU for appointing me as head coach of the England men's senior team. I'd also like to thank Leicester Tigers for releasing Kevin and myself from contracts there to come and coach the team. I wish everybody at Welford Road a lot of success for the remainder of the season. To be appointed into this role fills me with incredible pride, and I'm honoured to take on this job. Now, I know that pride will count for nothing if we don't deliver. I want to shape a team that wins. I was a little boy who fell in love with rugby watching the England team play. I want to shape a team that this nation gets behind, that inspires our supporters and inspires lots of young boys and girls to fall in love with rugby as I did all those years ago. We've got a lot of work to do, and we're going to start that work today. Thank you.
Great, thanks very much, guys. We'll come to questions. Eleanor, we'll come to you first, please. Thank you.
Hi, Steve. Firstly, congratulations. I'm sure you can breathe a sigh of relief because everyone here has been quizzing you for weeks about whether you'd be coming to the England job. But I mean, firstly, your reaction and how it feels to be sitting here today.
I'm incredibly excited to be here. I made my debut here in 2001. I played my first game for England, and the stadium's changed a bit since that point in time. But from that day, the thing that always stick in my mind is you turn left out of the changing rooms, you go down the tunnel, and as you're coming down that tunnel, and it starts to open up, as you step just outside, the noise that hits you in this stadium. So every time I come here, I think of that first time I heard that roar. Now, it's not very long before we play Scotland here. And when this team walks out that tunnel, I want to hear that roar louder than ever. And our job as a team, my job as coach, to help prepare the team, that we give our supporters plenty to roar about. We have this ground as noisy as it's ever been, by the way we play, by the way we compete, by the way we fight on that pitch. So I want a team this nation can be proud of.
I'm sure that's something everyone here would be very excited to see. I wonder, I mean, we all know it's tricky timing. What was it like to say goodbye to the Tigers team? I know you got a win on Saturday, but what was that like for you?
It was pretty emotional on Saturday night. I said this, I cared deeply about my players. For 2.5 years, we worked incredibly hard together, and I love working with those players, and I know I will miss them, but I'm so excited about the group of players that we have here in England. We've got a period of time where we need to bring a team together from all the clubs around the country and put it together in a manner, the way they play together, the way they fight together, the way they work for each other, that we look at that team and we're very proud of them and we're successful, that we win.
And finally, you mentioned period of time, but we know you don't have long until we're back here for the Six Nations. It's obviously under a year until the World Cup. What are your priorities coming into this role? Well,
47 days I think it is. 47 days till we play Scotland here at Twickenham and the start of that Six Nations. What are my priorities? Well, right now, as you look at that autumn series, I don't think England are ranked in the top 3 in any one particular facet of the game. So there's plenty of things we've got to work upon. There's plenty of things we've got to get right. The thing that keeps resonating in my head, it's actually, I'm going to go back to when I was a player, and it is when the team was coached by Clive Woodward. And actually the thing that always sticks in my head was in every single meeting, he had these posters on the wall. And I was 20, 21. And on that first poster, the poster he always referred to in every meeting was brilliant basics. And he said, you've got to be brilliant at basics, every meeting. So we've got a lot of work to do, but first and foremost, what we've got to do as part of that, we've got to be brilliant at the basics. Come that first game in 47 days' time.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anything else for the live? Yeah, Nick, we'll come to you.
Bill, obviously, I know it's been a length time, but can you just talk to why it was the right time to make the change, and also then why Steve was the right man?
It's been a long process. I mean, it's been an ongoing process as well. My first conversation with Leicester was back in August of this year. So there's nothing surprising, if you like, about this. And before every tournament, we have a preview, and after every tournament, we have a review in terms of how it's gone and are we on track? Are we delivering against the strategy we've put in place in terms of how the team performs? And clearly over the autumns, that was a disappointing autumns, and we didn't get the results we wanted there. And hence we had a review process, and we decided that we wanted to accelerate the process and get Steve in as soon as we could. We've talked about his credentials. He knows England inside and out. He knows an England style of playing. The journey he's been on since finishing as a player, coaching, he's got international experience, he's got top-class club experience, and he's been successful all along the way. So we felt, as I said before, going back some time now, our number one lead choice for the successor was always Steve. Yeah, quality individual, both on and off the field. He's not here today. He's at the Doddy Weirs memorial, but clearly a quality individual and Steve's choice.
Steve, will you talk to Eddie about when you sort of pick his brain about what comes next?
I spoke to Eddie last week, and I'm grateful for everything Eddie's done throughout my coaching career to support me. Right now, I'm going to be clear about what I need to do and how I'm going to lead this team in my way.
And I know you said that the rest of the coaching team will be sort of sorted out in the next couple of weeks. You've got a lot to sort of just get on with.
Yeah, there's plenty of work to do. I'm delighted Kevin's joined us. That's the first step. If we want to, in any of the best teams I've played in, and the best teams coached, is you have a team where the players work so hard for each other. It's never perfect. They cover for each other. They help each other. They celebrate with each other. They lift each other up when you get knocked down. The teammates there are so tight. Now, if there's a person that embodies that ethos, just the most, Kevin Sinfield does that. Just the type of person you want in your environment. Now, Kevin is a top quality coach. He's an incredible coach. I think he's an even better human being.
Thanks. Julian, we'll come to you. Thanks.
A question for Bill. Was it simply a matter of results that led to Eddie's departure, or have your sort of relationship with broken down?
No, there was no problem with the relationship. And like Steve, we were in contact afterwards, and I hope that continues. So absolutely no issue in terms of the personal relationship. But the results were just not as we'd hoped for and as we expected. And we felt we needed more momentum and more thrust going into 2023.
Thanks. Do you have anything else? Yeah, thanks.
Congratulations, Steve. Do you see it as your job to entertain as well as win?
I think, as a coach, what I want to do is produce a team that delivers, and I think that's what Twickenham supporters want. Now, I got home a couple of days ago, and I stepped in the door, and I've got two boys, and my 9-year-old's Hunter, and Hunter is running towards me. He's carrying this ball in his hand, and I'm thinking to myself, it's one of those moments where you, as a father, you go, he's going to give me this great hug. It's kind of heartwarming moment, and he ran straight past me, which kind of let's think of it, and dived on the floor at the far side of the living room. Scored the winning try. He said, "That's the winning try." He said, "Daddy, I just scored the winning try." Brilliant. So one problem was I missed out on my hug. The second problem was that he was wearing a Wallabies shirt, and we've got his mother's to blame for that. His mum's to blame for that. But what it reminds me is the power that rugby has. This incredible sport that we love. It has such power. Now, what we want to do is make sure that this team is one that uses that power to get kids to fall in love with this game, to get the supporters roaring and keep them roaring. Now, we've got a lot of work to do. And I think everyone can see that. We've got a lot of work to do. And that's not going to happen overnight. But I think we've got a great group of players. I think we've got experienced players. I think we've got young players that are emerging, that have such incredible talent. And that I think is really exciting.
Lovely. Thanks. If we don't have anything else, lovely. We'll end the live section there. Writers, we're going to go into Spirit of Rugby now with Steve, and broadcasters. If you can make your way with Charlotte, she will take you pitch side for your broadcast interviews with Bill to start. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well done.